Hope everybody's doing well on this sexy Friday, almost 50 degrees outside. Recovering from the rain and the bullshit. But this is CBD Talks. You're here with Mayor Vince, aka the Seath Lord, aka well, there's so many AKAs that I can't keep track of it. But that's not important. What is important is an update for you guys. So we filed a PPO, or not PPO, excuse me, rather. We filed a FOIA. Lawsuit, and we just got the summons for that, and we just amended it for a complaint because apparently Michigan has laws where you can get up to $1,000 for a denied FOIA, unlawfully or capriciously, arbitrarily denied FOIA. So we've amended our complaint to include that provision, I guess, if you will. And so we're hoping that, or that's scheduled rather for May 29th, so not too far, well, after this tax tribunal case. So we're going to push the tax tribunal case back, request an in-person hearing, so that way we can hopefully get a ruling on that FOIA that we've been asking for, which is just information in regards to the Michigan Disabled Veteran Tax Exemption. The records that the city of Wayne has, they got to have it. If they would like to continue to call themselves a legitimate government, then they have to have these records. City of Wayne has these records. They're required by law to have these records, so if they don't have these records, then that's going to be a bigger problem for them. That's going to be a much bigger problem if they don't have those records that they're required by the state to keep. So that's something that we have to take a look and dive into. So just for the mere fact that the FOIA lawsuit in regards to the public records request for the MCL 211.7B exemptions that the state of Wayne has to have, we're going to push the tax tribunal case back from May 19th, and we're going to request an in-person hearing. So that's it's imperative, right? At this point, I wouldn't have any. I wouldn't allow it any other way. Telephone hearing with the judge is just simply not a telephone call, rather. That's just not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. So, and plus we need to get that FOIA, that FOIA-ed information, so we can show the court that okay, this isn't a mistake. This is a coordinated effort. This is a coordinated attack on me, and it's not an honest, simple mistake, right? It's it's abusive process is what it is. Some would say it's gross negligence, right? But it's not negligence because they know exactly what they're doing, though. So that's, it's complete disregard. I mean, it is, I guess there would be some negligence to it because, they're required by law to act in a certain way and they're not. So, I mean, there is some negligence, but it's willful negligence, right? It's willfully, it's willful, so. So we do have that readily available for us. So we'll see. Obviously, it's imperative that we get the information that we're requesting first and foremost, right? All of the information that we're requesting, because it is guaranteed to us by law on this liberal manner when it comes to these action to accommodate those who request pieces of public information, right? So it's not optional, it's required by Michigan law, and you can seek up to $1,000 per FOIA, right, in damages. So that's what we've done because this fiddle fucking around not providing information that you're required to by law. The city of Wayne did it for over 6 months, starting on May 9th. In June, we had requested several pieces of discovery that we've never gotten. Jermaine Warwick, my previous counsel, requested it, and then I re-requested it. Because granted, it was, granted on the record, it was, it was granted by the courts, but then the city of Wayne still didn't provide the information or the receipts like they said they would. They said they'd send you like some sort of a, written confirmation of some sorts. They never did that, so it is a complete violation of the law, and it's what this FOIA is over, is FOIA lawsuit. And every time the city denies records that I'm requesting, it will be another lawsuit. I mean, it's just, that's the only recourse that you have, is just keep filing lawsuits, keep getting it as a public record, and eventually, they're going to make mistakes. They already do make mistakes. They are a mistake, and you can just you can bet your ass that they're going to continue to fuck up and do things that don't paint them in the best light and paint them as vindictive and malicious, which is what they are. Let's just be frank here. If you're required by law to have certain records, but you don't want to release those records without a lawsuit, well, like I said, every time, this is my message to you, shitbags of City of Wayne, every single time you violate my rights, it will be its own lawsuit. Every single time. And, you might weasel your way out of one or two, right? You might weasel your way out of something here and there, but it's like when you charge people falsely with crimes so that way you can build some sort of a pattern of misconduct. Well, the same thing applies here. You guys are pieces of shit. The Mark Blackwell case proved it. The Anthony Miller case confirmed it. And my case, the McFarland case, makes it undeniable. You guys are vile pieces of human garbage, and you deserve to be in prison. To be quite frank with you, you all deserve to be in prison indefinitely. Right? I would say the death penalty for this type of shit, really, I think that's, appropriate in my I am an advocate for the death penalty. I think that it is extremely underutilized. Obviously a tremendous power, but, if you're going to maliciously prosecute somebody without evidence and you're going to fabricate evidence, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think you deserve to live at that point. Definitely you don't deserve to be a practicing attorney or any of that. You don't deserve to be in any sort of people-facing role, right? Any sort of position like that. But no, I think you should at least do a couple decades in prison and, be stripped of everything you own, and you should come out of prison homeless and destitute. Just like, the people that you throw in jail, right? You throw someone in jail and now they don't have any means to make any money or feed their family or provide for themselves or others. And you've effectively cut them off at the knees. So, that's a tremendous power to be granted to someone like Carolyn Miller or Michael Bosnick. And when you abuse that power, when you maliciously prosecute people, yeah, you deserve the death penalty. You deserve nothing more than dog shit. You don't deserve anything, resembling mercy. Mercy to the person that you were maliciously, vindictively prosecuting. Right, without even a possibility of probable cause, right, which is just really what's fucking astounding about this whole case, is the fact that probable cause is quite literally impossible in this particular situation, which means the fabrication and the malicious prosecution, the fabrication of the evidence is all the more concerning. It's all the more damning, because what it demonstrates is you're woeful in it, right? You intentionally and methodically, deliberately did this to a human being, a disabled veteran. Because you guys are pieces of shit, City of Wayne. Make no mistake about it. You guys have never served your country a day in your life. You guys have never served a day in the military. And so in my opinion, you're a piece of shit just by that. The fact that you have over a dozen people in government and no one's ever served in the military that's in power, I mean, that's a problem first and foremost. But I'm a better person than you, and my life has more value because I'm a veteran than a non-veteran piece of shit tyrant like the City of Wayne or their employees. right? They're upper level management employees, right? Yeah, I am a higher status, a higher caliber individual. We're not equal, okay? You're down here, I'm up here. So that's just what it is. I mean, that's just what it is legally, and that's what it is in practical terms, right? I did something valuable for my country. You guys have never served your country a day in your lives, and that's just the crux of the issue, and that's just the facts of the issue, right? And so, by default, just my existence, I've done more than you've ever done in your lives, City of Wayne. Any one of you. I've done more in my life for the City of Wayne than you've ever done for the City of Wayne. And that's sad, really. But it's not surprising, because, you know, when you guys continuously parasite off of taxpayer money, right? Money that isn't yours. You're stealing other people's money to fund things that they don't even want. Yeah, that's fraud, that's treason, and that should be punishable by death. That is correct. That is my heartfelt opinion. That is my political, philosophical opinion. Now, of course, you know, don't be a cock and get it twisted and say, oh, well, he's advocating. No, I'm not. I'm not advocating for any type of violence towards anybody. I'm just stating my political position. Yes, I believe in the death penalty, and yes, I believe that government employees who violate their oath should be put to death. Yes. Maybe not every single one in every single situation, but that needs to be on the table for every single time someone's rights are violated. And if you just go after the extreme cases, right, the Carolyn Miller cases, right, where you just like have no probable cause even possible to prosecute somebody, yeah, I mean, you should definitely lose your license to practice law, because at that point you're literally practicing law, right? You're not actually, there's nothing lawful about it. So yeah, I mean, but that's not enough though, right? Just losing your job or getting a slap on the wrist, that's a fucking joke. That's a fucking joke. What needs to be, imposed is, hey, whatever that person you maliciously prosecuted, however many days that person spent in jail, we're going to quadruple it for your bitch ass. And we're going to take everything you own, and we're going to make sure you never work in any sort of, what do you call it? Professional type jobs again, right? You never work a professional job. And, that's it, right? And if you violate anything else again, we just put you to death, or we just do it from the get-go, because, really, if you're willing to maliciously prosecute a disabled veteran, right, I don't think you're redeemable as a human being. I don't think there's any redemption qualities. I don't think, is there redeemative qualities in regards to, like, God? Yeah, probably. I would say so. But as far as, like, from a human standpoint, is there any redeemable qualities about that? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The fact of the matter is not a single human being should be maliciously prosecuted, but certainly one of, high status, right? High protected status, legally high protected status. And you're doing that to that person. So, I mean, it just kind of, like I said, it goes to show nobody's off limits, right? And, you're not allowed to say what you want to say in America. You're not allowed to tell a fucking bum to go fuck off and suck your dick and get off your property, right? Well, you are allowed to, and I'm going to continue to say that. Hey, City of Wayne, suck my 8-inch dick to the balls, and don't you ever step foot on my fucking property again, or you're going to fucking meet in Jesus Christ. That's all the fuck I got to say. Cunt, bitch, faggot, fucks. And I'm out, nigga. I'm getting my fucking money on Lyft right now, nigga. I'm going to do Lyft, right? I'm going to be doing Lyft for the next fucking 36 hours, you motherfuckers. And once I have that money, because we're going to keep filing these fucking lawsuits. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. We're running that tab up, bitch. We're running that tab up. Because you know what? I don't mind Melody. She's a lawyer, and, you can't trust her as far as you can throw her. But I have a little bit more respect for her. Except for when she lied and said that there was a fence, that there was a previously fence installed on my property. There never has been. I don't know where she got that information from. I don't know if she lied or if she was fed a lie. I don't know. But without verifying the validity of that information, she stated that for the court. So, you can't really trust any of them, guys, to be quite frank with you. But, yeah, I don't mind. Let her run up the tab. Fuck it. because the city of Wayne, like I said, it's a bunch of worthless cocks. It's a bunch of degenerate losers, and there really is no hope, right? Unless you vote somebody in who's actually willing to do the work, which I don't know if people in the city of Wayne are willing to do that. I don't know. I mean, I know that there are a sizable amount of people that dislike the current administration and will basically go with anything else. But you know, you're still fighting on a culture of cuckery. You're still fighting on the status quo culture of degeneracy and you know, self-serving interest, right? So I don't know if the city of Wayne is truly redeemable, and that's why I said, you know, every single option is on the table. I mean, I think simply getting an annex would probably be the best route, you know, long term for most people, right? Most people would benefit the most long term by just getting rid of it, just annexing it out of existence. But assuming people don't want to do that, or it's just not on the table as far as practicality goes, or, you know, efforts, you know, you're using your effort and your time, and if it's not the best utilization of our time, then yeah, we're willing to, you know, try to make this shit sandwich as appetizing as possible. But I mean, it's gonna be tough, guys, but you know, we got to do it. And I just, like I said, with this current governmental structure, no, it's not possible to turn things around, right? Unless you have a majority on the council, and then you can start enacting laws and codifying and ratifying laws that, well, then of course you got to have the will to carry those laws out, and, you know, the fortitude to do it. Of course, it's not just well, you pass some laws and everything's good to go. Nope, you still gotta go and train employees and get them on the right track. But yeah, I mean, the current administration, there's no redeeming qualities, and that's what I meant by you know, by what I said. You know, don't take my words out of context, but yeah, I mean, there really is no redeeming quality. I think everyone who's involved, you know, everyone who regularly, let me put it this way, everybody who regularly attends a city council meeting, I think deserves to be in prison, right? That's my heartfelt belief. I don't think these people are fit for society, and society's in grave danger by having these people in power of anything, right? I wouldn't put them in power of fucking dog catching or, you know, house sitting, right? I wouldn't put them in charge of any of that. They're not well, first of all, the problem is the city of Wayne doesn't hire people of good moral character. And they certainly don't hire white men of good moral character. That's for certain. They don't believe in that. So any of the white men they hire, you know, they're cucks or soy boy, beta male faggots, or, you know, just some fucking degenerate, you know, piece of shit, essentially. Low character people, right? People that are, you know, easily bribed and the whole 9 yards. Low character individuals, people without integrity, without, you know, the ability to just tell the truth, right? Because that's what this is really all about, guys. This is not about politics. This isn't about right and wrong, really, other than the fact that the truth is the only way forward and it's the only right that we know. And so, yeah, I mean, as long as you err on the side of the truth, I don't have no problem with you. As long as you make a good faith effort to err on the side of the truth and to promote the truth, I don't have so much of an issue. But what I do have an issue with is a, you know, pretend government, a kangaroo government, a kangaroo police force, a kangaroo fire department, a banana republic, right? I have an issue with that because those are very expensive, and if we're just going to have nothing, which we already have nothing in Wayne, we don't have any redeeming community or public services whatsoever. You know, as far as, like, you know, organized community, right? I mean, yeah, good, you know, decent neighbors, good people, small town feels, but you don't get that village appeal, right? Especially from the government. So, you know, if we can't fix this government, then we don't need it. And it really couldn't be any more simple than that. It really couldn't. But never worried, never hurried. You know, that's what we've been for a long time in Wayne, right? And it's not working out so well for us. morale is at an all-time low, employee turnover is high, and citizens and taxpayers aren't happy. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Which, what is there to be happy about? What is there to celebrate, you know? Downtown looks like is a joke. Downtown looks like shit. The east side's just infested with bums and joggers and degenerate motherfuckers, you name it, right? And so, yeah, I mean, killings and shootings and drug dealing and property crime on the east side, and, you know, on the west side too, let's be frank. But, you know, unsolved murders and all this corruption and these civil lawsuits, because that's what I care about. I care about, hey, is the government upholding people's rights, respecting people's rights, promoting people's rights, or are they devaluing them and infringing upon them and removing them, right? That's what I care about, right? I know I'm a simpleton motherfucker. I don't care about your gay, fake budget meetings, right, where you can manipulate the numbers and the data and, you know, try to lie and bullshit your way through things like Diane Webb and Larry Gowen, right? Where they go on a city council meeting and tell you, oh, everything's great, look how much money we have. But then you look around and everything's falling apart and you're like, well, where's the money? Where is it being utilized? Well, it's being utilized to tear down a parking structure that we, you know, scammed the government into giving us to build, and then we tore it down. And then, you know, it's just like I said, it's a jobs program. It's not like a real government. There's no actual, you know, there's no organized leaders, and there's no function, right? It doesn't function like a government. It just functions quite literally just like the mob, basically. You're going to pay us these taxes or else you're not going to live here. It's just that simple. And we don't have to justify our taxes to you. Go fuck off, you little medieval peasant, and pay your taxes like a good old cuckboy. I mean, that's how they treat you. That's how they talk to you, right? They just talk to you like a piece of shit, like you're the nigger, right? They talk to you like you're a nigger when they're the niggers, when they're the piece of shit, white trash, you know, bums, right? White trash, fucking degenerate, bum-ass nigger fuckers, right? That's what they are, right? And beta male soy boy faggots, and you know, that's what comprises especially the leadership. Anyone that attends a city council meeting regularly deserves to be in a prison cell, because of their treasonous ways and, you know, their fucking their culture of degeneracy, right, of treating people like shit, treating regular everyday American taxpayers like they're niggers and they're worthless pieces of shit. I mean, that's what they treat them like. That's how they interact with them, right? They interact with you like you're some parasitic nigger, and, you know, they can't be bothered, right? They can't be bothered with your time. That's how they act, right? Like you're bothering them, when really they're the white trash fucking wrinkly hag, right? And they can't accept the fact that quite literally nobody wants their gay nigger white trash ass anywhere around them, and they don't have real value to offer the world, and they can't accept that. It's just like the fire department when I flip them off and call them fucking fag. It's all that they are. And, you know, trying to explain to them that you don't have any real value, tangible value, at least to me, right? Now, if I called you for service, that would be a different story. If somebody called you and you were performing a legitimate, constitutionally protected service, then yeah, I would get behind you. But you guys don't do that in Wayne. And you guys instead chill at home, chill in the office and play Wii golf, right, with taxpayer money. And then you think that I'm just going to look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's cool, right? No, it's sand nigger bullshit. It's nigger bullshit. And we just don't need, you know, we don't need this in our community, you know, just that simple. I mean, we have enough diversity, and as you guys can tell, it's not really working out in Wayne or any of the surrounding areas. It never has, it never will. That's a discussion for another day. But what I have noticed about the white race especially is the dumbification of just all races in America in general, but a particular highlight I would like to point out is the dumbification of the white race, right? Because that's how you get Tina Parnell's and John Racy's and fucking Alfred Brock's in power, right? And Kevin Dowd's, right? Because, you know, it's just the decline of society, right? As society puts up with more and more nigger bullshit and more communism and Marxism and, you know, faggotry and queery and, you know, joggery and cuckery and, just the new form of sorcery is all that this shit is, right? Celebrating Black History Month when, Black Americans by and large have never invented anything, and most of their so-called inventions were, stolen, and, it was fraud, right? And so, all these lies that, white Americans, well, not all white Americans, of course, half of us, say, fuck you, nigger, get off my property, go fuck yourself, and your nigger bullshit, and your argy-bargy, and your degenerative, felonious crimes, and your baby mamas, and your AIDS and STDs, and gun violence and illiteracy. Like, we don't need it around you. If you're going to act in that way, then that's what we're going to call you, because you're supposed to be judged by the content of your character, right? That's what Martin Luther King said, right? The fake doctor, fucking adulterer, serial forger, Martin Luther King was a piece of shit. He wasn't no king, he wasn't no doctor, and he certainly wasn't Martin Luther. He wasn't any relation to Martin Luther. He was a piece of shit. But even that piece of shit had enough sense to say, hey, you got to judge people on the content of their character, not their skin tone, right? So if you're going to act, in other words, if you're going to act like a degenerate, deprived, fucking Zionist nigger Jew bag, or fucking white trash piece of shit, however you want to phrase it, whatever pejorative you would like to use, if you're going to engage in such behavior, then yeah, we're going to call you a fucking nigger. We're going to say, hey nigger, get the fuck out of here. You don't want to be with civilized society? Well, then go play with your dick over here in Detroit. Go live with the bums, go live with the losers, the degenerates, right? The diversity, the migrants, go live with it, right? If that's what you want, that's what you want to sponsor and support and advocate for, then that's what you can have, right? But I don't want to be around it. I'm not going to support it, and I'm going to actively tell other people that what you're doing is retarded and it's detrimental to society at large. So do with what you will with this video. I don't really give a fuck. I'm just a white guy in America, tired of having to priorly restrain my speech, because if I say what I really want to say, well, then I'll be locked in a cage, or I'll be censored off, the face of the earth, because, you're just not allowed to tell the truth as you see it, right? Which it is the truth. If it weren't the truth, then they would let you say it so freely, and they wouldn't be, trying to censor everything you say, right? When your opposition's trying to censor you and, get you put in a cage and lock you away and censor you off the internet, well, that's a pretty good indication that what you're talking about is, how do you say, it's provoking too many critical thoughts, and it's getting too close to the crux of the issue, and it's not your opponent's best interest to have you continue to speak, right? To continue to engage in your First Amendment. Because that's all I see. That's all I see in the city of Wayne. I just see degenerate DEI hires, fucking incompetence like you wouldn't believe, right? And just a culture of losers, really, and a culture of vindictive and maliciousness, and it's like being in middle school, right? Oh, somebody called me a name, he called me a fag, so I gotta go tell on him to the teacher, right? That's the type of shit that you gotta live with and you gotta engage with, right? So no, I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that the city of Wayne is a functional government in any way, shape, or form. Everything that I've ever seen from the city of Wayne and every individual I've ever spoken with, it's not a real government. It's a shakedown, it's a money grab, it's a cash grab, it's a mafia of cucks, right? But it's certainly not a functional government with due process, I'll tell you that. That much I do know, right? They can't even pass, they have 7 or 8 months to pass an ordinance that doesn't violate the vagueness doctrine, and they can't do it. Why is that? Because it's low IQ, because the more that America accepts and allows DEI hires and those that didn't earn it to be in positions that they have no business being in, right? Which is, a lot of it's minorities, women, black people, Latinos, right? I mean, there's a lot of people in this country that have positions that they're just woefully underqualified or unqualified for. And overtly qualified people are snubbed and denied opportunities in the name of tolerance, in the name of diversity, right? And it's like the leftists never pondered the thought of like, well, what type of implications are these policies and these directives going to have on society at large? Well, I mean, they thought about it, right? But they didn't really think it all through. I guess the boomers thought they would already be dead, right? Because that's how the Wayne boomers, that's how, it would be explained to me. When I look at the city of Wayne city council and I look at all the boomers, all the white trash boomers on the city of Wayne city council, it's abundantly clear that they'd have a timing issue, right? Like a lot of these people were hoping to pillage and fraud and, keep the facade going until they were in the grave, and, then it wouldn't be their problem, I guess. But unfortunately, the deck of cards is collapsing a little bit too soon. And look at what they've turned the city of Wayne into. They turned it into a joke. I mean, it always was a joke. It never was a city. It was always a village. But, I mean, they've turned the village of Wayne into a fucking joke by promoting a DEI hire, fucking illiterate, retarded fag like Finley Carter and Ryan Strong as the head of your police department. Well, that's a failure right there. That alone says that we don't even need to have a police department. If that's what we're gonna. If you want to be offended, if you want to, whatever. If you're offended by what I say, if you don't like what I say, if you don't like the fact that a, person like myself says what I want to say and says it unapologetically and, calls a spade, right? If you want to act like a piece of shit, then I'm going to call you a piece of shit. If you want to be a jogger, I'm going to call you a jogger. It's just that simple. Sometimes I'm going to speak in code. Other times I'm just going to drop the hard R on you and just let you have it. So, I really don't give a fuck how you feel, because the feelings, if feelings mattered, well, then we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. But clearly the feels aren't getting the job done, guys. So if we're going to get the job done, if we're actually going to get what, at least 2/3 of the population wants, which is low taxes and less regulation and, less laws and, less power to the state, then, yeah, I mean, if you're not going to do that, then go fuck yourself. If you're not going to promote that and support that, then this isn't the channel for you. If you're going to be a cock and call somebody a neo-Nazi or a white supremacist because they have a conflicting viewpoint, or, they don't give a fuck about your worldview, right? What you determine and deem to be acceptable and not, like, I don't give a fuck. If you haven't noticed by now, people, anyone who's watched me, I don't give two flying fucks. I'll surround myself around nothing but black people, and then I'll call you a nigger right to your face. That's the type of person I am. I don't give a fuck, because the truth is the truth. And real recognize real, and my message transcends racial, category or, any of that, right? This is just raw from the cuff, right? Off the rip, without any editing, nothing, not a damn thing. You don't like what I have to say? Well, then go tune into the John Racy. Go get John Racy's newspaper delivered to your house. Well, he delivers it to your house regardless if you want it or not, right? Right, Johnny boy? Yeah, because I've only told you 5 times, several times in council meetings, to stop sending me your garbage-ass tabloid that I wipe my ass with and start fires with. Don't want it. Never have wanted it. Never consented to wanting it, and still don't want it. And it seems to me that it's being masqueraded as some sort of city publication when in fact it's a private newspaper. So just a little weird, but that'd be another lawsuit we'll file when we get some extra money around to waste on bums. But hope you guys have a great weekend, and hope you stay away from the chimp outs and the Wayne Zebra Memorial. Stay away from that fucking place. That's a shithole. That's a fucking dump. Sending your child to Wayne Memorial High School is child abuse. Like, you must not love your child if you want your child to be, in a chocolate factory like that. Absolutely not. So, nope. It's sad when you got to pay, I don't know, what is it, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a year in property taxes, and then your kids have to go to, a ghetto, black trash infested shithole, and white trash infested, to be fair, but you know, mostly black trash, right? Yeah, that's just what we want to have our kids be around, right? Is that type of shit, because you know that's definitely, the more we import the Somalians and the Nigerians, the better our country gets, right, guys? Right? No, but don't judge them by their cover, though. Don't notice the trends, guys. Don't notice what's really going on. Don't notice as America becomes less and less white, it becomes shittier and shittier and shittier. Don't realize the fact that diversity, you have less rights and less, freedom than ancestors did. You know, don't mind that. You know, don't notice that. Right? That'd be a horrible thing for white people en masse to notice. You're not allowed to notice it. You're just supposed to release. You're supposed to release the apes back in the jungle and let them commit fucking, horrendous, felonious assaults, murders, rapes, homicides, beatings, stabbings, muggings. I mean, you fucking name it, right? And nope, no issue with putting them in charge of the asylum and releasing them back out in the jungle so they can kill and victimize more innocent people, and then you can round them back up and arrest them and make some money on it, right, guys? Because don't ever let a good tragedy go to waste, right? Ain't that right, you pieces of shit? Ain't that right? Yeah. So, for anyone who thought I was a bootlicker, that's comical. No, I mean, I'll be polite to people if they're polite to me, or, got to pick my battles where I can, but yeah, this idea that I'm a bootlicker of any sort, that's comical, right? So Nick Fuentes ain't got shit on me, guys. If you think Nick Fuentes is radical, then you need to get off this fucking channel, right? Because I'll show you radical, right? I'll show you fucking radical, right? Which isn't even radical. 100 years ago, that would have been par for the course, right? But now, because we live, like I said, our country's been so cucked and taken over by Jews and migrants and parasites and non-whites and joggers and Muslims, right? Sand niggers, that's what I call them. And yeah, we're supposed to just sit here and pretend radical jihadists, right? Is what I mean, right? So obviously there's decent people of all races, but there's definitely trends with people, and there's definitely some patterns that you can notice, right? And unless you're, like I said, a cock or blind or a fucking sheep, then I guess you'll believe whatever you're told or spoon-fed. But assuming you're not one of those people, then welcome to the channel where we talk about the truth and the realities of police brutality and bootlicking, but also the realities of having multiculturalism and letting women have the right to vote, and allowing women in mass to enter the workplace, and allowing H-1B visas, and all of these things that have just completely destroyed the social fabric of society, that have been promoted mainly by Democrats and Republicans, right? But yeah, I mean, you just go drive down Detroit and it's all boarded up. Like, quite literally, all of Detroit is boarded up. And it used to be a beautiful white city, 90+% white, most richest in the world, and now it's 80% black, and you got a ghetto bitch in charge, right? Where she can't even put a coherent sentence together without sounding like a ghetto nigger piece of trash, which is what she is, right? She needs to be in prison too. But so you can say for many of them, they all need to be in prison because as you can tell, I mean, there's ain't nothing worth really fighting over, guys. What, Detroit, downtown Detroit, where a fucking burger's $20 and it's $30 to park the car for an hour, and you can't find a white person to save your life unless it's like at a bar on weekend for a couple hour time period, right? That's the only time you can find a white person. Other than that, no, You got to look at black people with red dreadlocks and shit. I'm thinking that anybody in their right mind would want to look at that. I sincerely doubt it, but hey, that's what you guys want. That's what you guys will tolerate. So that's what you get. And coming to a neighborhood near you guys, not too far away. Not too far away. So can't have nice things because that would require tough choices, right? Are we going to allow bums to just continue to live on our property or in our country forever and ever and ever and do whatever they want, get away with whatever they want? Or are we going to put our foot down as a society and say no more? To not only the bum-ass parasitical politicians, right, the oligarchs, but also, the migrants, right, the liberal leftist horde of fucking degenerates, right? So when is society gonna just say, enough is enough? That I'm not sure, and I don't know if it would be, quite frankly, even possible in today's era, simply because you're not allowed, like men aren't allowed to exist in this country anymore, and degeneracy is going to run rampant either way, right? I mean, the Democrats are going to get reelected in power eventually, anyways. Half the country is not redeemable, right? So, well, half of the voting block, right? A third, right? We'll say a third of the country. There's no way to redeem it, right? If you vote for shit that they vote for and believe, and hey, we should murder children, and probably certain groups of people should be aborting their fucking child, but they shouldn't be over here in the first place, right? That's the whole point. So I don't want to kill non-white children just because our leadership are fucking retarded imbecile morons that just care about number go up on the graph there, so they don't care about the future of society, right? Because they don't think it'll impact them, or they'll live in their gated community and it won't pertain to them. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you don't like what I got to say, again, you can go fuck yourself, go play with your dick out in the road, go move to Detroit, go hang out with the fucking bum ass niggers and all the losers. So go have fun with them. Knock yourself out, guys. Knock yourself out. I'm gonna go stay around white people. I'm gonna go live and stay around white people. Yeah, I know. It's kind of boring, isn't it? It's kind of boring waking up every day and not having to worry about your bike being stolen out of your backyard, and outside of the niggers down at City Hall, right? The fire department niggers and the bums, right? That break into my property because they just think that they, because they feel like it, right? Outside of that, I don't have nothing to fear, right? In my neighborhood. But can't say that for a lot of places in America, unfortunately. So I speak for you, I speak for everyone, in that there's changes coming on the horizon. That I can sense, but whatever. I digress.